Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry I didn't intro. I felt like it, but I always feel weird doing that in vlogs. I don't know why. I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of an update how things are going in Korea. Sorry about the extremely shaky. I'm just trying to get into a comfortable position. I did not make a vlog the last game we played, so I thought I would basically overview you guys of the last, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. It's been quite a while. But essentially what has happened is, last time I didn't make a vlog because we were really short on time. I was also, that was winners bracket finals. We played against EOT Hammer. According to my previous vlogs and the interviews that I'd done, I was feeling very confident against them, and I definitely was. But we ended up losing actually. We lost 2-3. Game 5 was pretty close. We had an advantage, but we threw it away and we could have played much better. So we ended up losing, or did I say 3? I meant 5. So the final game, it was tied 2-2. And we ended up barely winning, or barely losing. Well, not barely. Like, they decidedly beat us by the end of the game, but we had advantages that we should have been able to win the game with. Though some would say that their draft was better. They definitely played better than us overall in the game, 5 games. So I didn't make a vlog before we went into the studio. And since we lost, I definitely didn't feel like vlogging after we lost. So that's why no video came up for that. So sorry if you guys were expecting that. But that's why it didn't happen. Because we lost winners bracket final, that puts us in losers bracket, and we play that match tomorrow. So that's why I'm making a vlog, just to update you guys. So if you want to watch it, you can, and giving you guys my thoughts about how things went in the past, things that we've practiced in the future, or where we're going to be, depending on how this goes. So I've been in Korea for like 1 month now. We got here, I believe, the 3rd of January, and it's now like February. I don't even know what date it is, but it's like somewhere between like February 2nd, I think, and February 10th, somewhere in there. I don't know. I don't know dates. All I care about is sleeping in Dota right now. To give some excuses, or at least talk about some of the reasons we lost. As you guys, like I said, we expected to beat EOT, and we didn't, and kind of made us like look at how hard we'd been practicing, and we'd been playing a lot. Like, we did play a lot of matches every day, like 3 to 5. But we could have been playing more, probably, like 8 or something like that. So we definitely didn't work as hard as we could. But we were happy that it happened in the winners bracket finals instead of the grand finals. Because if we would have been EOT, and if we would have barely beaten them, like, let's say we played better in game 5 and we beat them that game, and we won 3-2, we wouldn't have worked as hard as we would have if we ended up losing, which we did. So we've definitely been a lot more stressed out. But losing was good for us, technically, because we only have to play one more best of 3. Or best of 5, excuse me, and we're definitely working harder as a result because we're like that much closer to getting eliminated. So we were all in pretty good spirits. We had a really nice talk for dinner that night, and we got things worked out okay. And I think it was overall positive. I also want to address, I've been getting a lot of hate since then because of my cocky comments. I mean, I kind of want to talk about cockiness for a bit. I think a lot of people are misinterpreting my confidence for cockiness. As I play professional Dota, I've noticed I've learned a lot of new things about like team environments. Not necessarily just Dota. I've learned a lot more about Dota since then, but I've learned a lot more about like what it's like to be on a team, like what it's like to be competitive against other teams, how that affects your relationships and things like that. So I thought I'd share some of that information with you guys. First off, confidence and also comments that people make about pro gamers or people in competitive environments are very different, and I understand why. Like, as a social thing, like if you're competing against somebody, or even if you're not competing against them, if somebody says something that you think is wrong, like I'm better than so and so, you as a viewer, you see that and you're like, oh shit, I cannot wait for the moment when they realize that they were wrong. And that's like really exciting as a bystander to be like, holy shit, I can't wait until Purge loses. So because of that, like a lot of people have jumped on that bandwagon, because when I made comments like, we're confident against EOT, or we were more worried about MVP than we beat MVP, so we're like, oh, we got this, like we think we have a good shot of winning. We never really like shit talked our opponents, so it's not like we weren't like being mean about it, but I mean, I've always, like my whole life, I've had trouble not telling people my honest opinion when they ask. So if somebody in an interview is like, how do you feel going into the match? Like, I don't want to bullshit people. I want to say like the truth. I want to be like, we're confident. Like we think we can beat EO2. We played EOT like before we played them at best of 5. We played them like a week prior, like 5 days prior, and we only played one game, so it wasn't a good reference point. And maybe they were like dicking around because they wanted to make us overconfident, or maybe they just had a really bad game. But we played one game against them and we stomped them really hard. So I was like, okay, we stomped them really hard 5 days ago. The game wasn't even close. So that's why I was confident. Like, and I said publicly that I was confident. I didn't say like the players on EOT are dog shit or trash or something like that. So a lot of people are like pulling that hate towards me because not only did I say that I was confident, but I thought we were going to win. I thought we were better than EOT. So I said these things like, it's like, it's entirely within your guys' ability, and you deserve to be able to be angry or like maybe put hate towards me towards that. But like, it is like so toxic. It really sucks. Like regardless, like I accept the flame and whatever because I made the comments and obviously my comments were untrue. I don't feel bad about making the comments. I just feel bad about making an untrue comment, I guess, or like guessing or assuming wrong. It's not, I don't know. I don't like the only thing that I regret is that my public confidence results in my teammates getting flamed, and I think that's bullshit. So if you guys like hate my teammates more because I was confident and we lost, that's not fair at all. That's the only thing that I regret. I don't regret my comments because that's what I believed, and people ask me the question. Like that's why so many players, they'll be like, I just want to make good games. It's because they know that if they lose, they're gonna get flamed so bad, and it embarrasses them and makes them look like shit if they shit talk or if they are confident. So it's like, it's a weird dynamic. Like I understand why people do it, but if the players don't tell the truth, they don't look as bad if they lose. I mean, they still get flamed, of course, but it's not nearly as bad. But like, it's like a really stupid, it's kind of a dumb situation. So I'm just asking you guys, please be a little nicer if possible. Like, really carefully look if it's like overconfidence. Like, we definitely lost, obviously. I saw the 3-2, but it wasn't like we got 3-0'd, right? We didn't get 3-1. We got 3-2'd. It was close. In the game 5, we had an advantage. We threw it away because we played bad. Like, it's not like it was super one-sided, you know? So, like, when people flame us about it, like, they're like, people go in Twitch chat and they're like, Purge, you still mad about losing to EOT? I was like, dude, I was, like, mad for maybe, like, an hour. Like, it's so confusing. It's like people just want to, like, get under your skin and, like, be like, dude, you were wrong, and remind you repeatedly because it makes them feel good. It's, like, it's frustrating sometimes if people are actively toxic. That's honestly what bothers me more than the words they say. It's that somebody is choosing to try to hurt you. It's like, why are you doing this? Like, why can't you just be like a nice person? Like, I don't understand why people want to do that. It really confuses me. That honestly bothers me way more than the words. Every time that somebody flames me, I'm like, why are you being mean? Like, can't you just be nice? Like, that confuses me down to my core. So, all right, I think that's enough about the EOT match versus us. Since then, there was another set that had to be played before we found out who we were playing tomorrow. So that was the teams that we eliminated, and the teams that we knocked to lowers bracket, and the team that EOT knocked to lowers bracket, and that we knocked MVP to lowers bracket by 3-1ing them, and EOT knocked down 5 and Q by 3-2ing them. So EOT more or less barely beat 5 and Q. 5 and Q started 2-0 versus them, and in game 3, 5 and Q was like, oh, we're gonna win. They picked Pudge and they lost. And then EOT proceeded to 3-0 them and beat them 3-2. It was like, ugh, that sucked. That like really sucked for 5 and Q. Like they picked Pudge because they thought they were so far ahead. Because they really beat them the first 2 games. So they were like, oh, we'll pick Pudge, whatever. And then they lost. It was really, I felt really bad for them. So 5 and Q played MVP. It was a 3-2 series. The first 4 games, they were back and forth. They ended up starting 2-2 basically. You guys can watch the games if you want to. I probably won't do commentaries of anything that I'm participating in because I don't want to give our opponents tips and things like that, or like analyzation for free, because it is pretty helpful to have somebody analyze the game, especially your opponents, because like they'll be able to see better into what I'm thinking and like just warding patterns, things like that. That's why I don't do any commentaries of my games. So I hope you guys understand about that. Anyways, game 5, it was fairly one-sided with 5 and Q versus MVP. I'm really cold right now, so if you hear like weird noises in my voice, like my room is seriously 55 degrees. The rest of the house is quite warm, but my room is really cold, so that's why I'm like slightly shivering. So anyways, they beat him game 5. MVP is knocked out of the tournament. They end up at 4th place out of the 8 teams that qualified. So they get some prize money. It's not very much. It's maybe less than 5,000, but it's okay. It's obviously, it's not a lot of money, but it's something. So that's good. They get some money. 5NQ is the team that we're going to play. We play them tomorrow at 1 p.m. I have the times written down. We play at 1 p.m. KST, and that means it's 8 p.m. PST. This is in less than 24 hours, by the way. As of my recording, it's like 3 p.m. We play 1 p.m. tomorrow, so we play in like 22 hours. So by the time this video gets up, it's going to be like 17 hours, 18 hours from wherever you are. That's how long it'll be until the match. So it's 8 p.m. Pacific, U.S. time, 11 p.m. Eastern, U.S. time. And in terms of CET, that's the European time zone, that's 5 a.m. CET. And if you guys are in some weird variation in there that I didn't name, it's 4 a.m. UTC 0. So the opposite of the date line, it's like somewhere in Europe, it's or close to Europe, it's UTC 0. So it's 4 a.m. there. So just adjust based on that. It's basically really early for Europe, and it's fairly late for North America or North America, South America, etc. And it's like afternoon for the C countries. So early afternoon at least. I think Singapore time is 1 hour before Korean, and I think the Australian times vary between like 1 hour ahead and 2 hours ahead or the same time, something like that. I looked up the time stuff just now, but okay. So now that I've covered, I can talk about the only other thing to mention about the other match is that it was really hard to find teams over the last weekend. The MVP and 5NQ match was on Tuesday, and Chinese New Year was over the last weekend. It was impossible to find scrims. Our plan was to play this entire week leading up to the tournament. We couldn't find scrims on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those 3 days, there was like nobody playing because everybody, like at least one of their team members was doing family things. Chinese New Year is a really big deal in Southeast Asia. So like whole weekends, people would just not be playing. So like 5NQ and MVP, I guarantee did not get as much practice as they wanted to. So it was pretty big crapshoot going into that tournament because we didn't really know who was going to win. I think Bambo bet on 5NQ and MVP, or Blitz bet on MVP, I think. One other thing to mention. MVP did a player sub for their match. They brought in Solara, who's a very talented North American player. He was on Quantic like 2 years ago. Quantic almost got the qualifiers for TI, or they played in the qualifiers for TI2, but they did not win is what happened. Solar is, I don't know if he's Korean or Korean American, but or Canadian, I don't know. But I think he used to live in North America and used to play with Quantic. But basically, he recently joined MVP's A team, which is MVP Phoenix. They're the ones that won season 2 of NSL last month with Demon. He was on, or that's the team he joined. He wasn't there last season. He joined after they won to make the team stronger. And then since they were, the rumors are that MVP was a little worried about losing to 5NQ or beating us, or maybe even beating EOT Hammer. So what they decided to do was put Solara on MVP Hot 6 for the rest of the season in hopes of winning because they thought their team wasn't quite strong enough. That's what the rumors are. So basically they kicked a player right before their match, or at least a couple days before their match, maybe a week, I don't know. And Solara played with them and they still ended up losing. So they were stronger than they were previously because they subbed in a player. Apparently it's okay to do that. It kind of makes me feel weird because I feel like everybody signed up with the players they did, and I'm surprised that it's okay for them to play, but like everybody on my team completely disagreed with me. They're like, no, it's okay. Like, and they compared it to online cups. Like online cups will go on for like a couple months, so usually what they'll do is like teams are going to disband during like a 3-month tournament, so they're going to swap out, and it makes sense, and it happens in professional sports as well. I'm having trouble like adjusting to it and accepting that that's okay, but it made me feel really weird the first time when I first saw it and realized what was happening. They're like, okay, we don't think we're going to win. Let's get better players in. I think you can do up to 3 teams or 3 players during a tournament. So that happened. MVP still ended up losing. So we figure Solar is going to go back and continue playing with MVP Phoenix. And I'm not sure who they're going to bring in for another player, but they're going to have to get somebody else. Okay, so MVP gets knocked out. We play 5NQ on this Saturday. We've been able to find a lot of scrims the last 2 nights. It's been really productive, so we're definitely getting a little better, and we're just getting ready for the match. It's tomorrow at 1. I would say we're favored. I think there's definitely a chance we could lose. It would really suck if we did, but there's definitely a chance that we could lose. I think we're favored over 5NQ. The bets are reflecting that as well. They're like very close, though. It's like 56 to 40, or it's like 53 to 47. It's like obscenely close. So I think the general public doesn't really know who's going to win. I think that we're the better team. Guess I'm going to get flamed for that one too, guys, because I give you my opinion. I think we're the better team. I think we're better than 5-Q. I think we still have a good shot at beating EOT as well. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about like some of the other factors that went into losing against EOT. I know this is just going to sound like complaining or like excuses and shit, but I thought I would tell you. I feel like telling you guys because it's like cool information that you might want to know or that might like give you reassurance or something. Like I could just very, very easily take this information to the grave and never talk about it again and whatever, but I don't know, I feel like telling you guys because it's kind of interesting. We honestly weren't even on best plane performance against EOT. Our sleep schedules were really messed up. A couple of our players only slept like 2 hours before we woke up to go to those matches, and we were late. And normally before we get there, we go to eat at this restaurant. So we literally didn't eat before we played, and a couple of our players had only slept 2 hours. I think I slept like 6 hours or something. So I was like mostly rested. I don't know if it affected my play that much, but I'm sure there was at least like one gank that would have gone better, which could have turned the game. You know, it's probably something minor. I think Corey still played really well. He was one of the players that didn't sleep very much. I can't remember. I think Steven slept a fair amount. I don't know. But like, we didn't eat very well before we played, and we didn't sleep enough. Those are two big mistakes that we made, in addition to not practicing quite as hard as we maybe should have. So, lots of mistakes were made. We lost to EOT completely legitimately. So, I thought I would just tell you guys about that. Anyways, so other than all that stuff, we play tomorrow. We're practicing hard. If we lose, we get third place, and I think we get at least around like $5,000, maybe 3 to 5. I don't remember exactly how much it is. If we win, we go to the grand finals, and then we play EOT again. If we lose, 5-Q would then do that, of course. So our goal by coming here was definitely to win NSL, and we were very confident that we could win, but upon arriving, it was pretty obvious that the teams are a lot better than we thought they were. Like, it's very, that's another thing that I learned from coming here is that when I used to observe professional Dota, sorry this vlog is so long, but I'm sure you guys are enjoying at least some of this. When I used to observe professional Dota as a caster or just as an observer, I would always see all these players that are like fantastic, like just about pretty much, yeah, probably every pro player that exists on the top teams. Yeah, guaranteed. All the top pros in the North American and EU scene, all of them are like quite a bit better than me. Some of them are quite a bit better, and most of them are like insanely better. Like, it's not even close. They're like way better individually than me. But upon like, I remember one time with my last team, we ended up playing against like most of Team Liquid. So like a lot of their players were like a significant portion better than our players were individually, and we still got a gold advantage. Like, it's like individual skill is not everything, and that's really something that I learned here. So despite me being like a weak player compared to most, if not all, pro players in like the North American and the EU scene, like, teamwork is by far more important. So that's something else. So basically what I'm trying to say is like, it's very easy to watch streams of the Korean teams and be like, God, look at this mistake, it's so fucking bad. And look at this player, he just fucked this up, he's so fucking bad. Like, it's very easy to criticize that and just build up this idea in your head like, this team's fucking garbage. Like, look at him. This guy just did this bad thing. This guy did this bad thing. This team's horrible. All these players are horrible. But like, it's not quite as cut and dry as that. It's very easy to look at as an observer. This is kind of like the same point in some ways as what I talked about earlier about flaming teams and players and stuff. It's like, oh, you see a mistake. It's so easy to do that when you're watching replays. I can watch my own replays and be like, why the fuck did I do that? That was so stupid. Why would I do that? And that was like a game I'd played like an hour before. But like, when you're playing the games, that shit, it happens. It happens all the time. And I'm sure that if any of you guys played in a professional setting, or even like if you played a match, like a match that had anything on the line, like it was like a tournament or something, you could easily watch your own replays and see mistakes that you made as well. Like, everybody makes mistakes. Obviously some players make a lot more, but it all kind of ties in. Like, everybody looks, I think it's, I mean, obviously the Korean talent is much lower than North America and Europe and China, obviously, but it's very easy to like criticize and say that they're horrible when in reality they're actually not too bad of teams. So I guess, again, just try to be understanding of everything. So I'm not trying to like brace myself in case I lose or anything. Like, worst case scenario, we lose, we only get a couple $1,000s instead of 60, which is a huge difference. we'd have less money, but we're still gonna be fine. And like even if we stay in Korea and like we fail NSL and then we start playing in the next tournament, which has tons of prize money, and we don't do very well, like worst case, I still came to Korea for a couple of months and played Dota professionally and got way better, and that's gonna be really. I mean, it's been really fun. I've honestly not regretted this at all, and it's not just about the money. I mean, that was the original foundation of the idea, but like I don't know, I'm very happy that I'm here, and I know that a lot of our other teammates are happy about this. I mean, Corey is getting a lot of exposure. He's like extremely talented. He could definitely play on an NA or an EU team. I think he's good enough. I think Blitz is definitely good enough as well. Bambo obviously is good enough. Eos and I need some work, but some of us I need a lot more work. But I don't know. Like it's been such a good experience. Like even if we lose, it's not a big deal. So, anyways, I hope you guys cheer us on. It's tomorrow. It should go well, and by that I mean it should be at least fun to watch. I'm sure the games are going to be fairly close. It'll be back and forth. I would love to 3-0 them, but I think that's a little unrealistic because they're actually very good. I'm sure they'll take at least 1 to 2 games off. I think there's a pretty good chance we'll go 3-2. I would say I'm most confident with it being a 3-2 in our advantage, but any 3-2 can definitely swing the other way. It just takes one game swing, so it could definitely be a 2-3, or I really would be surprised if we got 1-3'd. I really don't see us getting 0-3'd. But I don't know. I'm not super confident. I'm not super confident. I'm confident though. So I think there's an okay chance of us winning. I think we have at least a 40% chance of winning the whole tournament, which isn't super good odds, but we just got to beat 2 teams. That's it, guys. That's it. Another thing to announce, we heard reports that EOT has also swapped a player out. So we heard that one of their players got kicked, basically. So basically they beat us. They're in the finals, and they said, we don't feel quite confident with our roster. So they kicked one of their players, and they're bringing in another player that they think is better. So they basically swapped their roster. This guy played with them from qualifiers all the way up until the grand finals, and they kicked him and swapped in a new player so that they had a better chance of winning, and I feel really bad for that guy. And again, I talked about this earlier. It's something that's allowed, but I feel so bad for him. I hope if he doesn't get paid, like that is going to be not fair at all to him. I think because he definitely did. He was a factor towards getting in there. So hopefully for him, he still gets some money if they end up winning or losing. Honestly, he deserves it either way. So yeah. Even EOT is not extremely confident against us. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. But they did swap a player, so obviously they think that it's not like an absolute shoe-in. It makes sense to make their team as strong as possible going into it. It may hurt them though because they're gonna only have like a week of practice with a new player, and maybe it's gonna hurt their synergy a lot. You never really know, considering those guys have been playing together, I believe, for like 2 months. So I think that's what the circumstance is. But I understand why they did it. It's $60,000. If you win, you get a lot of money, and you can like guarantee that you continue to play professional Dota. And if you lose, teams are going to be disbanding. That's how it always goes. So we play 5 and Q tomorrow. If we can beat 5 and Q, we will then go on to play EOT. And I hope you guys at least enjoy the games. We got our team shirts in. I guess I can show you one here. Just reach over on the ground because you can bet your ass I don't know, it's a Zephyr shirt. You can see the back too, I think. Zephyr or Purge. They're pretty simple, but I like them. They're cool. Everybody will be wearing theirs tomorrow. It'll be fun. So at least we get 1 stage match out of them. Hopefully 2. Fingers crossed. But regardless, if we lose, we're staying. And there's more tournaments coming up. Kespa is investing, or at least Nexon is pushing Kespa to invest. I don't know exactly how it's working, but Kespa is basically recognizing Dota 2 as a tournament. The qualifiers for those are actually on Sunday, so we play tomorrow versus 5 and Q, and then the day after, no matter what happens, we'll play in the qualifiers. The way the qualifiers work is there's like 3 tiers of teams. Tier 1 has 4 teams. Tier 2 has like 6 teams or something, and Tier 3 has like 10. I don't remember exactly the numbers. I just know that Tier 1 has 4 teams. So the important thing to look at is that, again, sorry this vlog is so long, but there's like tons of crap to talk about. The reason that this is a little scary is because there's a lot of teams that we could see getting into Tier 1. So if we talk about all the best teams in Korea right now, Bird Gang, they won Season 1 of NSL, very good team, arguably the best team in Korea right now. Another top team is definitely MVP Phoenix. They won NSL Season 2. We think they're very, very talented. Sometimes they really stomp us in scrims, and other times we've beaten them. In our past history, we played against all the best players on both MVPs, and we beat them 2-0. That was for what was that? FOMO Total League. But they hadn't played that much with their 5 best players, so maybe that messed them up a lot. Who knows? But we beat them 2-0. I think they're probably top 3 teams, definitely. MVP Phoenixes. The other best teams, EOT Hammer, obviously, they're in the finals now of Season 3 of NSL. That's 3 teams. And then I think we're definitely in the top 6 teams. So Zephyr, EOT Hammer, MVP Phoenix, Bird Gang. And then we could say 5 and Q is really good and definitely on the same tier. And then we could even say MVP Hot 6. Despite them getting knocked out, I still think they're one of the best teams. So I just named 6 teams that I think are like fairly close. And there's only 4 spots for Tier A. So getting into Tier A is huge because if you win a match in Tier A, you get like $5,000. And there's at least 1 match a week. So getting into Tier A is a huge deal. If you win all 4 matches, you get $20K in a month, which is massive. That's a third of NSL. Happens every month and everybody can participate. If you're not in Tier 1, you'll be in Tier 2. If you win a game in Tier 2, you only get $1,000 for a win. So Tier 2 will be significantly easier. And I think like significant is definitely the statement to make, because if there's like 10 teams, I just named 6 teams that are pretty close to each other. The teams below those 6 I think are significantly worse, though obviously we're going to get a lot of new players and a lot of new teams being organized because of all the money coming in and all the space for new teams. Like if there's 3 tiers and all the best teams are top 6 or like 6 right now, that means there's still at least like maybe 6 other teams that are like okay-ish, have potential, but I think teams that we could beat quite easily. And then there's going to be tons of amateur teams. So basically it's just going to really cultivate the Korean scene a lot. It's like going to be really great for up-and-coming teams and up-and-coming players. And we'll probably see a lot more foreigners like us approach the Korean scene, I think, and move here. I think is what's going to happen. So anyways, we definitely want to make it into Tier A if we can. It's not going to be easy though, because all the teams participating are very good. But we'll play on that on Sunday. I don't know how the logistics of that are working, but I just know for a fact that we play on Sunday for that. So Sunday is qualifiers for the upcoming tournament. If you do get into Tier B, by the way, you can still make it into Tier A. If you have the best performance in Tier B, you'll get moved up at the end of the season. If you have the worst performance in Tier A, you'll get moved down to Tier B at the end of the season. It's like Star Ladder. Star Ladder does a very similar thing. So it basically provides your team longevity. It's not like his flash and burn. So if let's say we get into Tier A and then we like absolutely tank, we play horrible, we go like 0-4 or something for the season, then we'll get moved to Tier B and we're not out of it. So maybe if like or a team has a bad month or something, or maybe like they have to swap a player and get used to stuff, they don't just get knocked out of the whole thing and like have to fight their way back in. It's more of like it's a little softer. It basically allows for teams to have longevity, and that's really important, I think in competitive video games at least, because there's not very much money involved right now. So for a lot of these teams, like they need to be able to have an income source, otherwise they have to give up and do something else. So hopefully we get into Tier A. No promises, though. All the teams are very good. We did beat Bird Gang recently in the FOMOS finals, so I think there's definitely a possibility that we could beat them again. The last time we played MVP Phoenix, they beat us pretty easily 2-0, but I think we just had some like gameplay mistakes that we've since learned from. 5 and Q, we'll see after today or after tomorrow, I guess, how likely we're to beat them. EOT, I think we can beat. I basically think we can beat all the teams, and I think we can lose to all those 6 teams. I feel very confident against MVP Hot 6, though. I think there's a good shot that we could beat them again. So I'm most confident against Hot 6, followed by probably 5 and Q, I would say. I'm less confident against EOT Hammer, Bird Gang, and MVP Phoenix. Am I missing somebody? I don't think so. Oh yeah, we're the 6th team. So I named 5 just now, I think. So yeah, I think there's a good shot we can get into Tier A. If we do, that means a lot more money earning potential. Even if we get into Tier B, it's not the worst case in the world. We can still probably win 75% of our games, I would assume. I don't know for sure. And then probably make it into Tier A the season after. But the initial placement would be nice. It's a lot more earning. So yeah, we're going to be here for a while, guys. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I can't think of anything else. I'll get a Terrorblade video coming soon. Sorry I haven't played them, just we've been really focusing a lot. practicing, and I play a lot of like pubs where I just play support heroes just to try to like, especially with a new patch coming out, I'm trying out a lot of new heroes. I've been playing a lot of Jakiro to see how viable he is, and at the moment he's like, I think he's better than he was a little bit ago, but I don't think he's like that much better. Not enough where he's competitively viable over a lot of other heroes, so yeah. I'm not so sure. He's probably not worth playing competitively. He's got some okay, he counters a couple heroes, but he's also countered by a lot of other heroes like Storm and Quap and other popular blinkers that are really annoying to deal with in the first place. So I think that's it. I thank you guys for watching what was undoubtedly like a 30-minute video about me talking about the Korean pro scene, but if you guys are out of the loop, I'm sure this is very informative for you and a little bit more behind the scenes information about like why we lost and stuff like that. If you guys do want to watch the games, you can buy the Nexon ticket. I think it's like $7 or $8, and you can watch all the games. You can watch them from my perspective if you want to, for God's sake. But yeah, I think that's about it. I guess I don't really want to rehash why we lost any of the games against EOT Hammer. Most of them were like just various things, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. My Chen game, I'll talk about my play, I guess, for the Chen game, because I think the rest of my games I played fairly okay. The Chen game, they warded my whole jungle, and what I should have done is just smoked and gone into their jungle immediately, and then started ganking the Timbersaw immediately in the mid lane, and that's what I should have done. Instead, I stayed in my jungle, and I kept taking creeps from the medium camp and trying to like provide cover on the middle and the off lane, but that wasn't effective at all because I was getting like a mana drain satyr, and then I would just stand around. So I didn't go to their jungle until like 3 minutes, and I should have done it like right at the start of the game. Should have just ditched and gone to the jungle. And then I could have been a roaming force on the mid and the bottom. And the one time that I ganked mid against the Kunkka, if you guys are wondering about that one, I was sitting there ready to gank mid. Blitz had a DD on Dragon Knight and he was 6. And we were waiting for him to go up so we could get a reliable stun and move the centaur and get the kill. But what I should have done was chased him out. But anyways, I was sitting around the tower and he came to the right and I saw him with my vision, which meant that he saw me with his vision. Unless the day vision or the night vision is different for Dragon Knight versus the centaur, not sure which. So he saw me, and I think one support was missing at least, so we were like, okay, well, guess we're not ganking because we were scared the support was there and it would have turned into a bad gank and we would have died, but we should have just gone for it because I was already really behind, and I should have like moved the centaur through the back and then like trapped him from the right side, forced him into my centaur, and then Blitz could have followed up stunned. We could have killed him because we had a DD, so that kill was really big that I missed that I didn't go for it. I just like decided, I was like, well, saw me, gank's over, but I should have just gone for it instead of being afraid. So that's what I regret probably the most, is not going on that kill. I think that's the simplest, biggest mistake I didn't make. In my defense, I got a lot of crappy creeps in the Radiant jungle when I went there. It was like Wildkins and like Mud Golems and Satyrs and crap, and I didn't get like I think I got a Wildkin, and then I had to go like Tornado something to produce a Satyr, and then I finally got like a Centaur and I was ready to gank, but it was like 3.5 minutes and I was level 2 and that was really delayed, so I think that was the biggest mistake I made that game. I think my heals were on point, and I messed up my send back on Bambo that one time when he got caught, and then I died for it, and then we were pretty behind. And people are criticizing me for my Chen creeps not being on the tower when we were pushing the top lane, but that's because I didn't want to make the Echo Slam as bad, and since then people have said that I should have just had him there anyways and just spread him out a bit, so whatever, small mistakes, relatively. But we're learning. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's enough summary of why we lost EOT and all the other stuff that's going on in Korea. Thanks for supporting us. Please go follow my teammates on Twitter if you want to see what they're doing. Steven and Corey stream a lot right now, so if you guys want to watch their play. I don't think Steven uses webcam because he's afraid, but I think Corey does, and yeah, they stream a lot. You can check out their play. It's pretty fun. I will stream more after this weekend. We'll be very busy playing, and then hopefully we win. Go to the finals. Hopefully we win there. Fingers crossed. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you understand. If you have questions, leave them in comments below. There's a vague chance that I'll read comments and answer them. So, all right, I'll see you later. Bye.